She erupted over his call with a call of condolence with the widow of a fallen soldier. The president also claiming a congresswoman lied about the call that he made. Let's listen to what he has to say now.
Member Ron Wyden for joining us today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ron. We're here to discuss our plan to deliver historic tax cuts for American families, businesses, workers. It will be the largest tax cut in the history of our country. Here are some of the highlights from our framework. We are doubling the amount of income that is taxed at the zero bracket. In other words, the zero bracket, many people will be able to take advantage of that bracket that are not in that bracket. We're increasing the child tax credit. We will end the estate tax, sometimes referred to as the death tax. We will cut the business tax rate from the highest in the developed world at 35% to no more than 20%. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, reducing the corporate tax rate from 35 to 20% would increase average household income by $4,000 a year. So each household, on average, would take in $4,000, and they'll go out and they'll spend that money, and that'll be great for the economy. We're cutting taxes on small businesses to the lowest rate in more than 80 years. For 30 million Americans who own small businesses, it will be a 40% tax cut, and they will thrive and they will expand and they will be happy. For at least the next 5 years, businesses and manufacturers will be able to expense the full value of new equipment in the year in which they buy it, something which nobody even thought in terms of, and something which will have, I think, one of the biggest impacts on our economy. We will impose a one-time low tax on trillions of dollars of wealth parked overseas to encourage companies to bring back those profits and bring them back home and spend the money at home where it belongs. Right now, they can't bring the money back in because of bureaucratic problems, because of certain legislation, and most importantly, because the tax rate is so high that only a very foolish company head would bring the money back in. I think the numbers could even hit the $4 trillion mark. People have been saying $2.5 trillion for many years, but we know it's now much higher than that. The vast majority of Americans will be able to file their taxes on a single sheet of paper, because not only will these be massive tax cuts, but these will be a big simplification. It's going to be a very big simplification. So it's really tax cuts and reform, but I focus on tax cuts because it's such an important weapon to get our country really moving. So we'll go from being one of the highest tax nations in the world to one of the lowest tax, meaning more jobs, higher wages, and more products stamped with the words, "Made in the USA." This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, in my opinion. This is something that will be really unique. The timing is right. I have had people on both sides, and I promise not to mention the name of the people on the other sides or names, but a lot of people are liking this very much, and I think we're going to have tremendous support. We're going to restore America's competitive edge, rebuild America's middle class, very much aimed at the middle class, and renew the promise of the American dream. We're going to have companies pouring back into our country instead of leaving our country. We're not going to have them leave and fire everybody and make products and sell them back into our country totally untaxed. All we do is end up with lots of people without jobs and no product. It's not going to happen anymore. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. It's a great honor. We're going to have a great discussion today, and I'm sure we'll have unanimous support. I have no doubt, right? Right, Ron? I think, right? So thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, what do you got? The Sergeant Johnson put out on the phone yesterday.
Didn't say what that Congresswoman said. Didn't say it at all.